Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Down and Dirty Power 30. Today, we have a fantastic guest, Andrea Howe. And I just wanted to thank you so much for coming today, Andrea, to talk about physical goals. So just so you know, Andrea is a certified nutrition coach with over 10 years of experience in the nutrition world. She is passionate about helping middle-aged women build sustainable habits that stick. She's also the founder of How We Live. And this is where she shares incredible recipes. I put that in myself because I follow her and I love her recipes and practical advice on just living a healthy, balanced life. Andrea, we are so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So today is exciting because I know her and she lives out what she teaches. So it's really going to be great to hear what she says. So I'm going to just kind of jump into the physical goal and outcome that you want to share with. Obviously, it is a physical goal. Is there one in particular or does it kind of cover a lot of them?
It basically covers general nutrition, but also once you kind of get your general nutrition dialed in, it can impact so many things, including performance goals. So if you're, just a recreational athlete or just trying to get a consistent workout routine, it can help with weight loss goals, or it could just help with weight maintenance goals if you're just trying to maintain a healthy weight. So these tips will help with kind of any sort of physical nutrition goal you will have.
All right, perfect. So you just kind of adjust it based on what your actual goal is, up or down, based on either your weight or your age or your actual goal. But overall, what you're going to be teaching applies to majority of all goals.
Absolutely.
Okay, I love that. So, all right, everybody, did you hear that? So, it doesn't really matter what you're looking for in physical goals. What she's going to talk about is going to apply to you. All right, so now we know that the goal with the outcome is like really anything inside of goals to life that is a goal with an outcome that has to do with your physical health. She's going to address with the strategy, and you said of nutritional health.
Yes.
Tell me exactly. Okay, so is that what you would say? My strategy
is to improve nutrition habits.
All right, you guys. So that's a strategy that you would put into your goal plan. All right, this is exciting. So, in talking about that, tell me a little bit more about what that means to you and your approach and how you teach it.
Okay, sure. So whether I am teaching in a group setting, which I run several groups throughout the year where I'm speaking to multiple group participants, or whether I'm doing one-on-one coaching, my approach is the same. And my approach is the same whether you're a man or a woman, and no matter what your age is, because these um, goals and these habits are really things that should apply to any stage of life. And I have worked with younger women. I've worked with a lot of middle-aged women, and I've even worked with senior citizens 60 years and up. And these are the same things, the same habits, and the same method I prescribe no matter what age you are and no matter what sex you are. And so the first thing we do is we start with your diet quality. And the easy way to sort of gauge that metric is we try to work on increasing your fruit and veggie intake. 70% of Americans do not eat enough fruits and veggies on a daily basis. And I know it sounds so simple and so, intuitive. It almost makes too much. It's almost too obvious. But the fact of the matter is that we're just not, as a population, we're just not eating enough fruits and veggies. The great thing about fruits and veggies is that they, of course, contain tons of essential vitamins and minerals. That means that those are vitamins and minerals you can only get through eating food. Some of these food sources in particular, you can only get them through there. You can't get them, your body doesn't make them. You have to get these essential vitamins and minerals from food. The other great thing about it is that when you eat enough fruits and veggies, and there's been plenty of evidence to back this up, it actually improves overall health span. It helps reduce your risk of disease to things like cancer, cardiovascular disease, and all-cause mortality, meaning just it improves your overall lifespan. The other wonderful thing about fruits and veggies is that it can help with things anywhere from your performance goals. Fruits and veggies have a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, so
Right.
it actually can help you perform better in the gym. It can help you recover faster after a workout. It can also help you sleep better eating enough fruits and veggies because of the different conversions that happen from serotonin to producing melatonin in our bodies. They are aided by eating enough of these essential vitamins and minerals. Um, and then one of the coolest things that I like, especially for middle-aged women and men who start to see some body composition changes in midlife, meaning that their body's just not looking the way it used to, or they don't feel the way they used to. They might be gaining some weight in their midsection and such. The great thing about fruits and veggies is that it helps you fill up on a lot of food for a relatively low volume of calories or a low number of calories. The thing is that we actually don't feel full and feel satiated just from the quantity of calories we eat. We feel full off of the volume of food we eat. And so when we add a lot of fruits and veggies to our diet, we're adding a high volume of food that's filled with a lot of water and fiber. It's going to help us feel full and satisfied for a small amount of calories for the volume of food you're actually eating. And so that's the very first thing that I prescribe to my clients. And the simple thing that I tell them to go after is to eat 800 grams of fruits and veggies every day. And that includes things like potatoes, but not fried potatoes. So like whole potatoes, baked potatoes, even roasted potatoes. And it also includes beans. And so try to eat 800 grams of fruits and veggies every day. And that equates to about 6 cups of fruits and veggies. And that's kind of where we start. And we work on that habit first. I don't tell my clients to eliminate anything from their diet right off the bat. I want them to just work on an abundance mindset and adding things to our diet. So we start by adding good quality fruits and veggies to our diet that's going to be really good for our health and will likely help us meet or hit some of the nutritional goals that we may have regarding weight loss and performance.
Okay,
That's the first
question.
thing we do.
Can I ask you a question? Just
Yeah.
would you recommend certain, like whether it be a vegetable or fruit, be eaten at different times of the day? Because, you hear things about sugar and fruit and I don't know if they're it's just like I hear to do the fruit earlier in the day, not later in the day. Like, what do you have to say about that?
So really, there's absolutely no evidence that nutrient timing, meaning like when you eat certain things, matters. As long as, and this is the third thing we'll talk about, but as long as your overall calories for the day are in alignment with where they need to be. And regarding the myth, you're right. It's a very common idea that people have is that fruit contains a lot of sugar and that it's therefore bad for you. And the thing we get wrong about fruit is that the dose of sugar that is in the amount of fruit that we have. I can show you a wide variety of fruits, put them on a plate, a dinner size plate, a 10-inch dinner size plate, fill that up. And that will be about 500 calories of just fruit. And that is the equivalent to a standard size cookie. And so you are going to be able to eat in this huge amount of fruit, a relatively small amount of calories for the volume of food you eat versus the typical processed food like a cookie, a bowl of ice cream, or two, depending on the size of the pour, 2 to 2.5 glasses of wine. But of course, you're getting the wonderful benefits of all the vitamins and minerals that you're getting from that fruit. And so I do not tell my clients to try to, time their fruit or to try to limit it. It's really eat as much as you want. And people really usually cap out about 800 grams. And whether you eat all fruit or you eat a combination of fruits and veggies, that amount is roughly 300 to 500 calories max of food for the day. And the average person, the average, woman should be eating anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 calories of course, depending on her depending on her age and height and weight and all that. So it's really a fraction of the calories that we should be eating for the day. Does
Okay.
that make
All right.
sense?
I'm sorry to derail you. It's just, I've heard so many different
No, it's
things.
a
And
great
so,
question. That you
I
didn't
love
derail me
fruit,
at
but
all.
I'm like, oh gosh, I can't have it late. It's going to convert. But hey, trust me, I'll have a glass of wine at night. So,
I had
but
this exact same conversation with some girlfriends the other night, and they were talking about grapes and how they're so scared of grapes. while they're drinking a glass of wine. And I just
Oh,
had to laugh at the irony.
oh, that's so silly. Yeah, no, super. Oh my goodness. All right. So that does sound manageable. It sounds very simple. It's not complex. It's a great, like a first habit to just start there. And I love that you're starting with the mindset of abundance,
Yeah,
of allowing you to just create a good habit that's
yeah,
actually going to do. Now, how, and you just say you start there, right?
that's where we start.
Okay, so then tell me the next thing that you would do around the fruits and vegetables and how you want to go about that, and just starting with having that built into your daily intake. And how many cups did you say?
So it's about 6 cups,
6 cups.
excluding leafy greens. Leafy greens, so like the average fruit and veggie, it's about 6 cups, which is about 800 grams. Leafy greens are obviously very light. So I tell people don't even really count leafy greens, just add them to your diet as you want in
Right.
abundance.
Right.
Yeah,
Spinach. Forget spinach. You can put a whole bag in, put
exactly.
it in, and then it shrinks down to here. Yeah, no,
Exactly.
crazy. Okay, so talk to me about the next strategy or action that you have for us.
So then the next thing, and so I usually have my clients practice and I tell them when we get started, this is going to be like unlike anything you've ever done before. Normally when you start a nutrition plan or a quote unquote diet plan, especially one geared to weight loss, it is all about what you cut out from the diet, right? This is, like I said, we don't cut out anything in the beginning. At first, we just practice fruits and veggies. Then after a couple of weeks, then we layer on the second pillar, which is really important, and that is protein. You've probably heard a lot of talk about protein, especially in the last couple of years. And the reason why people yammer on and on about the importance of protein is that it's for a number of reasons. Number one, it's very satiating, meaning that it helps you feel really full and satisfied. It also has the highest, what's called, we're going to get a little sciencey here. It's called the highest thermic effect of food. And what that means is that we actually burn calories as we're digesting our food because our body is just constantly burning calories. Me sitting here talking to you, I'm burning calories, right? You also burn calories through physical exercise, and you also burn calories through eating and digesting food. Protein has the highest thermic effect of food, meaning that for, let's say, 100 calories of protein that you eat, your body will burn 20 to 30 calories just digesting it. So you're really only going to absorb about 70 to 80 calories versus when you eat carbs, it has a 10% thermic effect of food. So you're going to burn about 10 calories for every 100 calories. And then fat is about zero to maybe 3%.
Okay.
So our body just processes that really easily. So that's really cool. It's not a huge effect on our metabolism, but it's a nice little added bonus of protein. The other really important thing about protein, especially for us middle-aged folks who are starting to lose muscle mass, that is just inevitable when we age, is that it actually helps us either hold on to muscle mass, or if we're also combining it with strength training, it also can help us build muscle mass. There's about 10,000 physiological processes that happen in our body that are reliant on protein. So when we are eating a lower protein diet, or just a moderate protein diet, most of that protein, if not all that we eat, is going just to shuttle and like, keep those processes going and supporting those processes. When we increase it a little bit higher than that, we can actually then, our bodies can use it for what's called muscle protein synthesis. It helps us to hold on to our muscle and or build muscle. Why this becomes especially important as we age is that one of the biggest things that affects us starting in our 30s, as women, is that we start to lose 3 to 8% of muscle mass as we age. And the same thing happens to men. It just usually happens a lot at a slower rate than it does happen to women. And then women, we obviously have less muscle to begin with. And why is muscle important? Well, muscle is important for a number of things, but most importantly for our health. It helps us with our strength and our power. It helps us prevent falls as we get older in life. It helps with slow down frailty. It helps us keep from being frail. One of the leading causes of hospitalization and ultimately death, as we get older, is from falls. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I know there's so many falls.
Yeah. So
It's
when it's important that we try to hold on to muscle and stay nice and strong. And so protein helps with that. So that's the second thing we tackle is we should start adding protein to our diet. I prescribe zero point 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. Unless you have a weight loss goal of 25 pounds or more, then I would use your ideal body weight, your goal body weight to calculate that number. So for the average woman, we're looking at about 100 to 110 grams of protein, and then men upwards of 150 to 200 grams of protein. And so then I just teach my clients like how and where to get it in, and just simple strategies and recipes and such for how to add protein throughout the day.
So with your how we live, there are you doing a lot of protein recipes on there right now?
Oh, I have tons. Most of my recipes are like high protein and also high fiber because fiber is really important too as we age. And I forgot to mention that too about the fruits and veggies. You automatically get a good dose of like 15 to 25 grams of fiber a day when you eat that many fruits and veggies, and you don't even have to think about it. It's not something,
Right.
it just happens, which is
Well,
really
and it's so important for your gut health, the
yes.
fiber. I
Gut
mean,
health,
critical.
cholesterol, yeah, heart
Hmm.
health. So,
No,
yeah,
for
so
sure.
those are the top two things that I recommend. If someone just comes to me and says, like, I want to improve my nutrition habits, um, I just want to start by eating better, we start with those two things. And I do encourage people to track just on a post-it note. It's something simple. You can kind
They
of
don't
just
have to do that. Get tracking goals to life.
you are, yes, you can track in goals to life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I tell people, start with those two things and track those for a few weeks and see how you feel. And I can pretty much guarantee you're going to feel really blown away by how little protein and how little fruits and veggies you were eating. Because people don't realize it. I've had, close to 70 people come through my program now. And I have them fill out a form of like, how many fruits and veggies do you eat every day? What is your nutrition? Like, how would you rank your nutrition habits? And everyone always thinks they're eating more fruits and veggies than they actually are. And so it's kind of eye opening. So that's the first thing that happens. You realize like how much you can improve. And then the second thing that happens is you realize how much food it actually is. If you just center your meals around fruits and veggies and protein, you realize like I can eat a lot of food and I feel really full. If anything, a lot of my clients are not used to eating that much food. They are not used to that feeling of being satisfied more than anything.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I have a question then. Fruits. Oh no, well, fruits are fruits. Vegetables, cooking. How you cook your vegetables. Do you lose the nutritional value if you cook things a certain way? Do you want
That's
to
a
talk
great
to
question.
us? Mm-hmm.
So what's really interesting about cooking is that it depends on the vegetable. Some vegetables are actually more nutritious. You can actually get more of the nutrients out of them when you cook them. Some hold on to their nutrients better when you eat them raw. But so what I try to make it as simple as possible for my clients and just tell them, don't worry about it. You eat them how you want to eat them, because throughout the day and throughout the weeks and the months that you're eating, all these fruits and veggies, you are going to get a good amount of those nutrients, no matter, even if they get a little bit degraded. If this vegetable is better raw, but you cook it, it's okay because it all basically washes out in the end. You'll
So
drive
just not
yourself
to be
nuts.
fixated on it.
Don't fix it.
That's
You'll drive
another thing.
yourself
It's like,
crazy.
oh, you're losing this if you cook it this way or if you do it that way. What are some of the best way? Like, what are the best ways you like to cook, knowing that you always come up with great recipes? So to
So
cook your
I like
vegetables, what are your favorite
roasting is
ways to?
my favorite just
What'd
because
you say?
roasting.
Okay.
I love to roast vegetables because I just feel like they come out so good, and they get a nice little crisp on them. And then I also like to steam. So
Yeah.
steaming and roasting, those are my two favorite ways to
Right.
cook
Right.
veggies.
Right. I feel like roasting vegetables are great now that we're in the fall.
Oh,
Let's go.
absolutely. I roasted two huge sheet pans of vegetables today.
Okay, well, surprise, surprise. Good job,
Yeah.
Andrea. Practice what you preach, um, which I know you do. That's why I love having you here today. Okay, all right. So, do you have a success story, or just with recently? And you guys have to know that she's helping a lot of people right now, hands on, very involved, bringing through groups. And there's, obviously when you have a community that's working together, it really helps there be a form of accountability, having Andrea their lead. but have you seen like some amazing success stories with just these principles that you're teaching today so people can be inspired to implement it into their plan?
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. We were on a call. I was on a call. I have a weekly call with my group. And last week, so we focus on the fruits and the veggies and the protein first and foremost. We do that for about 4 weeks before we even start thinking about removing other things from the diet or not even removing, but limiting them, putting them in an appropriate amount. And what we would call a calorie deficit if someone has a goal of weight loss, meaning that they're actually trying to reduce their intake, but still focusing on those protein and fruits and veggies, and then reducing intake of the kind of the fun foods that we think of. But before we even got there in this latest group, we're now in week 6, but this was a couple of weeks ago. We had just finished those 2 principles, and I had a couple of gals in my group say, like, I've already lost weight. My goal is weight loss. They're middle-aged women that have been struggling the last couple of years. And they said, I'm not even trying to we're not even in the weight loss part yet, but just by focusing on adding these foods to my diet and centering my every meal around fruits and veggies and protein, I'm so full and satisfied that I've lost the desire to snack as much as I was. And a lot of these other foods, these fun foods that we snack on, they're kind of just inadvertently get displaced. And that's the goal. And when you can achieve your goals without feeling like you're white knuckling your way through the day, without feeling like you're giving up so much of the things that make your life enjoyable, you are much more likely to feel successful and stick with the plan. And that's what we really want to do, is we want to just create long lasting, sustainable habits, because so many people, they get on a diet plan and they're on the plan and then they're off the plan. And then they go back to the old habits. And we want to change your habits for good. This is the way you should be
Your
focusing on.
lifestyle.
This is a lifestyle now. So yeah, it's so exciting, and that's happened several times in the last couple of groups I've ran, where they're not even trying yet and they're already experiencing this.
Oh, I love it. And it's interesting though. I feel like this whole conversation is like what my mom has preached. Eat your fruits and veggies.
It
It's like
sounds
everyone can relate to this. Oh gosh, am I going back to my mom's always right, right? No.
obvious.
The parents, it's a thing that they've always said growing up. And then when you have your own decisions that you're making, sometimes you just
Yeah.
go with what you eat your feelings and you don't eat your fruits and vegetables. So yes, no, that's great. And I love the simplicity of it all. I love the abundance mindset. Um, I love the fact that it is a lifestyle. One thing at Goals to Life, we're big on being there every season of the year, every season of life. I think kids need this. I think I know. And then all humans need this. It doesn't really matter. I know that the intake is going to be a little bit different, shifting things up slightly on the percentages of things. But if you do focus on fruits and veggies, I will tell you, you have shifted my mindset around some fruits. I love fruits. Kind of stepped away from it recently. I'm glad you clarified some things for me. Obviously, letting myself reward myself on some of that. I know my treats are really dark chocolate. If I have something, I know it's better than others, but hey. But yes, is there anything else? I was just thinking, I was going to ask you about how you cook it. Any other tips that you want to? We have a little bit more time. Any other tips that you'd like to share?
Um, so I think women especially struggle with the protein number, and they feel like it's a lot, and they go into the mindset with, like, I'm just going to be eating chicken breast. And what's really cool is that there's protein in so many things. And we really have almost there's so many things to choose from. So a couple of the things that I like to do is, for a simple breakfast, especially if a woman comes to me and says, I'm not used to eating breakfast. How am I going to eat 30 grams of protein at breakfast? Because I really do suggest, in order to be successful, you're going to kind of have to front load that number. So like, try to go for 30 grams at each meal.
Okay.
And that includes breakfast. And so doing simple things like taking Greek yogurt and, having a serving of Greek yogurt, which is 20 grams of protein, add half a scoop of protein powder to that. That's going to get you, 10 to 15 grams of protein in addition to the Greek yogurt. You've hit your goal. and you're not eating, it's not a huge amount of food. So even if you're not used to eating breakfast, and protein powder is great because it doesn't add a lot of volume to your food. So you're not going to feel overly stuffed. So that's a really good one that I like to recommend to women who are struggling with like feeling like it's so much food.
Good.
And
I
then
love
another
that.
thing is I love pasteurized egg whites. Um, just like the good old egg whites that come in a box. I buy them in bulk at Costco. You can add them to everything from smoothies to oatmeal. I bake my oatmeal with egg whites. You
Wow.
can add them to, so like a lot of women will say like, I just discovered that an egg only has 6 grams of protein in it. I was like, yeah, it's not a lot. You have to eat 5 eggs to hit your 30 grams. And then you've also eaten a ton of, you know, fat in the process, which eggs are wonderful. I don't want to push anyone away from eggs. But in order to, if you're just trying to hit protein off of eggs, you're going to eat a lot of extra calories in the process. So I tell women, get some boxed egg whites and add them to your egg scramble in the morning. Add them to your scrambled eggs, make a nice, beautiful veggie scramble. Even add some beans to it. Make like a Southwest style scramble. Black beans, pinto beans, they're a wonderful source of not only fiber, but of course, protein as well. And so those are a couple of my like breakfast recommendations. And then for salads, lunchtime, so many people think, let me just do a salad for lunch. And the problem with salads are great. I love salads. But if you're just trying, like I said, if you remember what I said, you feel full off of the volume of food you eat. Salads are nice, but they don't often stick with you for more than a couple of hours because they're really lightweight. And you get a lot of excess calories in there if you go to a restaurant because they're adding in all the dressings and the toppings and everything. And meanwhile, you're hungry 2 hours later. So I tell people if you're going to eat a salad, bulk it up, add some heavier veggies to it. If you get one of those like salad kits that they sell, add things like tomatoes, cucumber, bell peppers, add more food, add more like fibrous veggies to them. Add some like sweet potato chunks, or add some beans to it. Toss it with some like white cannellini beans, because that is going to bulk up the salad. So then it's going to stick with you until late afternoon or dinner time.
So
And
protein,
then
and of course the protein with the salad.
of course the protein, that goes
Let's
without
not
saying.
forget the protein with the salad.
No.
And
Of
maybe
course
you
you
could
have
throw a
to have a
strawberry
protein.
in on your salad. How do you feel about like feta cheese or something
Oh,
like
I
that?
love feta cheese.
Okay.
Feta cheese is a wonderful source of feta and Parmesan cheese are wonderful sources of protein, actually. You get about 7 to 8 grams per ounce of serving.
Of those two. Wow. Look at all
Yeah.
these
So
tips.
I add, and they actually sell fat-free feta, which is really widely available. And so and fat-free feta actually even has more protein than regular feta, which is interesting. Something
Wow.
about the way when they skim the milk curds, then it actually you get more protein out of it. So I add feta to my salads, to my to like wraps, and of course to egg scrambles.
So I have a question. All these tips they can hear from you, obviously, when they go through, you call it a workshop, a course, what is the name of it?
It's an 8-week course that we do, an 8-week group program, and each week we're layering on these habits. We're working through them. Of course, I'm teaching. There's an hour call each week where I teach about general nutrition habits, why
Right.
we're doing these things, why they're important, why they matter. Because I think it's really important to know the why behind why I'm asking you to do these things. I'm not going to just tell you to do something. I want you to understand why, so that you're going to have bigger buy-in.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. No, the why is extremely important. People to understand the benefits and then how to do it, the tips, the
Yeah.
resources. They can follow you on Instagram. Now, explain where they could follow you on Instagram.
So my last name is Howe, Howe. There's an E at the end. And so my handle is How We Live, just to
Okay.
play on my last name. And that's where
Love
I
it.
share like recipes and general nutrition tips. And then I also have a website, same thing, howwelive.com. That's where all my recipes are. And on my website, you can find, and also the link in my bio on Instagram. I have 2 really great guides that you can download for free. I have a fiber guide all about, it has a fiber cheat sheet, like all the top fiber foods. It has tips on how to add fiber to your diet. And then I also have a protein guide that gives you all these tips as well. It gives you tips on on eating out, vegetarian and, animal product, protein foods, all that. It's a 7-page guide.
I love it. Okay, so if they go to your website and just so you know, we will have the link below so you can go there and directly request the access to these two documents. So you will be able to start to implement fiber, which I find is a big focus of mine right now. And then the protein and the tips Andrea has. And then if you just really need the accountability and community, sign up for her course, her 8-week course to just kickstart what you want to do and start building that lifestyle. I know we have a lot to look forward to as we get older, and we got to set this mindset, these habits in place sooner than later. And I'm really inspired, Andrea, and I'm very excited to just now start implementing more fruits into my diet. So
Yay. Listen,
yes, no,
don't be
thank
scared
you.
of fruit.
No, thank you. So you guys check it out. We will have information on Andrea here below. And Andrea, thank you so much for coming.
You're
I
welcome.
I
Thank
learned a
you.
lot. And I hope
Awesome.
you guys implement these simple steps today and just know she has so much. How many tips did we all get? I mean, enough that will keep us busy for the next month. But I'm sure this mind of hers could keep sharing and sharing tons of tips to keep us going day in, day out, season after season. So thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Well, you guys know how to reach out to her. Until the next time, we will be tuning into our next Down and Dirty Power 30. Keep pushing towards your goals, and we'll see you next time. And we'll have another expert ready here to share their wisdom. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.